Who's ready for some revenge stories? My roommate kept snoring and refused to address it, so I recorded her and played it whenever she tried to rest. That is diabolical. I'm into it. I work and live on a cruise ship. Depending on the route, we dock every 2 to 4 days. I have one roommate and we have bunk beds with me on top. I'm a performer, so we get to pick our roommates, and my roommate never told me that she snored very loudly too. Some people just don't believe they snore. It's funny because since I was born, I have this hum sound whenever I breathe out during my sleep. At the beginning, my mom was freaked out because she thought something was wrong with me. It's not. I just had to be annoying even when I sleep. I tried earplugs. Nope. I have big over-the-ear headphones and was playing music. Still can hear her. I can even hear her over the ship docking, and our room is near the anchor. It's loud. Why is she louder than industrial docking equipment? Is she part of the engine? Honestly, this is the point when I would look for another roommate. I have terrible insomnia, so falling asleep is very hard for me. I definitely couldn't stand to live with this. Her snoring is not only loud, it's concerning because she chokes in her sleep too. The first time I heard it, I almost fell out my bunk to rush down and check on her, thinking she was having some kind of medical emergency. I talked to her to see if we could come up with a solution. She basically shut me down because she thought since she was sleeping fine, it wasn't a big deal. I love that for her. Must be nice. Wyatt is always the loudest snorers, fell asleep in 0.3 seconds, like they are just powered down. And then they are never bothered by the terrible sound they make. Actually, my hum sound sometimes wakes me up and then I stop. Also, it's really hard to change roommates unless something major happens, and snoring isn't considered one of those. Despite me voicing my lack of sleep, I did my best to live with it, but I was fed up when I got done with a long work day, got up at 9 a.m. and didn't get officially done with work till 11 p.m. and had to be up at 6 a.m. And the snoring only allowed me 2 hours of sleep. Let me get this straight. So the cruise ship needs a major incident to change roommates. But being in constant lack of sleep is not qualifies. Not being able to sleep long period of times considered a torture. I understand that your roommate cannot help her snore, but the cruise ship really should sort this out. So I decided to record her. So this was your villain origin story. The next day, when I was going to the room for a break, she was there and said she was gonna take a nap. I was like, okay, and as she lay down, I started playing her snoring. She immediately shut up and looked at me like I was insane. When all I did was stare at her, she asked me to turn it off. I just said, well, this is you snoring, and you said it's not a big deal, so why should I? Oh my god, this is so petty. It's beautiful. She gets really mad, says a few choice words, and leaves the room. For about 3 days, whenever she tried to rest, I played her own snoring back. Finally, I got called in for a meeting with our manager because roommate was mad at me. I explained my side of the story. Because roommate failed to mention that she refused to address her snoring and made it seem like I was just playing loud noises for the heck of it. Of course, she ran to the manager. The second it started to affect her sleep, suddenly it was serious. It's kind of ironic though. She didn't think your lack of sleep was a big deal, but when it becomes her problem, it's worth to report it. Roommate is angry that the manager didn't fully take her side and even told her she was being difficult by not trying to address her snoring and brushing off my need for sleep. We ended up getting moved with new roommates though. In the story, I would mainly call out the cruise ship because I know a lot of people cannot help that they snore. It's their job to fix when 2 people cannot fit as roommates. In the end, that's exactly what happened. I am happy for you that you finally have your peace and you can rest. Snoring plus choking noise sounds like sleep apnea. She should get it diagnosed for her own health. But for your story, good solution. That is a very good advice. A lot of people don't know what is going on in their sleep. I hope you guys are still friends. This would be something worth to mention to her. I feel sorry for the new roommate. Yeah, well, someone has to take the L. I really like how you handled it. Very effective. It was good. You had proof to her to show that you're not dramatic. Hopefully, this is gonna help her realize that she needs the doctor's help. He did what? Several years ago, I was waiting in a grocery deli line to pick up some potato wedges for my wife. It wasn't a long line. I was 4th or 5th in a line and the last person in it. Up walks some lady, that's what I'll call her, and what I presume to be her daughter or granddaughter. Anyway, some lady keeps trying to jump the line each time a person was served, and the patient deli worker kept telling her she needed to wait her turn, with some lady getting more and more frustrated that she could not just do what she wanted. I hate people like that. Acting like the rules doesn't apply to them. Guy before me goes, and I hear her telling her daughter/granddaughter, "This is ridiculous. I just want some veggies." This is petty revenge. We know exactly what I plan to do upon hearing that. Did you buy up all the veggies? That's what I would have done if I weren't busy existing in a completely other world listening music while shopping. Finally, we get to my turn and she tries to jump again. Only this time I pipe up and let her know the end of the line is behind me. Go off, king. She did not like that at all, exclaiming, "This is It's first come, first serve." The worker and I just stared at her until she walks back to her irritation area off the side, and I see there are scant few potato wedges available. So I tell the worker I need more than what's available, and he says they'll need to drop some more. About a 5-minute wait. It was longer than that, closer to 10 as it turns out. Knowing what the lady wants and it's not there, I say he can help her. They go through the same process, which irritates her further, but says something like, "Fine, might as well at this point," and steps aside in a huff. It must be a really high level of confidence to be that wrong and that loud at the same time. Very inspirational, honestly. New wedges are brought out and I see her start to move like she's going to jump in front of me, but I remind her I'm next to order. Deli guy asks how much I want, usually in pounds, and I quietly say I want all the wedges. All of them? All of them. He cracks a bit of a smile and says, "Sure thing," and gathers them up for me. I start to walk away, slowly, so I can see the aftermath. And surely she shouts, "He did what?" and whips her head around to me. I wish I could say I locked eyes with her and ate a veg right in her face. But alas, that idea came to me as I recounted the tale to my wife at home. Best $14 I ever spent. That is elite. Olympic level patty, golden medal performance. I wish you would have eaten a veg in front of her face. That would have been diabolical. And I have to agree with you, this was probably the best $14 you ever spent. She clearly doesn't understand what first come first serve means. In her head, it probably means whenever she goes somewhere, she needs to be the first to be served. It wouldn't surprise me. Not all heroes wear capes. Some just order all the potato wedges. I never wanted potato wedges so badly in my life. OP is the potato veg king. Someone should sponsor him. Roommate said, "If you're so tired of cleaning up after us, just leave our stuff where you found it." Your roommate should be careful what they wish for. I'm 35 female now, but in college I rented a small house with 3 dudes, all of us in our early 20s. I have many stories of petty revenge from this time in my life, as guys in their 20s who are living away from their mothers for the first time often need the point illustrated in no uncertain terms. But this is one of my favorites. People need to do a better job to raise their son to be independent. Learn to cook. Learn to clean. To notice when toilet paper is gone without needing a TED talk about it. The house had 1 bathroom for the 4 of us. And as the only girl and the only one with a clean freak for a mother, I ended up doing basically all the cleaning. I frequently put things away in the common space. Shoes in the front closet, laptop on a shelf so no one trips over the cord, etc. Both because it made cleaning easier and because it's common courtesy to clean up your in common spaces. Is it common courtesy though? Because why not more people think this way? I was often met with irritation from my roommates who couldn't find their stuff. as if I was hiding it from them and not putting it in perfectly reasonable and agreed upon places. The weaponized incompetence is loud in this one. Maybe, just maybe, stop keeping your in common areas. During this time, one roommate also had a girlfriend who was basically a squatter in our house. I did my best to be friendly and welcoming, including driving her places when I had time and helping her find a job. Both mistakes in hindsight, but that's another story. Oh no, not the bonus freeloader character. This sounds to me like you became all of their new mommy. She technically had a place to live elsewhere, but all of her stuff somehow ended up in our house, including our one tiny bathroom which she showered in twice a day, despite contributing nothing to rent or utilities. The number of products lining up our shower easily tripled when she appeared, which made cleaning the bathroom a nightmare. I asked that she corral her bathroom stuff and keep it in his room, so the shower could be cleaned without knocking 27 conditioner bottles over. But that was asking too much. The final verdict from my roommates was that I should just leave our stuff where you found it. So I did. Those are famous last words. I think now they're gonna realize how much you did for them. It's comical how people don't know what they have until it's gone. This is not really revenge, more like malicious compliance, but just as delicious. When I cleaned the shower, I sprayed down all of her bathroom products with scrubbing bubbles rather than move it. It melted her expensive shampoo bar pretty quickly and made all of her bottled products slippery. But I was just following instructions. Roommate's laptop was plugged in, so I tripped over the cord while walking through the living room. You said just leave it, so I did, even though tripping over it unplugged it and now it's dead when you need to use it. And my personal favorite, roommate and girlfriend left their shoes all over the living room rug. The closest is literally 3 feet away. I needed to vacuum, so I left their stuff where I found it. Rolled up the living room rug with their shoes inside and vacuumed the whole house. No, because at that point you weren't a roommate anymore. You were an unpaid facility manager. I have a strong feeling that they contributed zero cleaning but 300% of the mess. They came out halfway though and asked where I put their shoes because they were leaving. I didn't put them anywhere. I left them where I found them. They kept looking confused until about 30 minutes later when I unrolled the rug to replace it, revealing their shoes. They called me an but after the shoe incident, suddenly her bathroom products were put away. Shoes ended up in the closet, and the laptop was plugged in somewhere out of the way. I'm sorry, but this is elite behavioral training. You didn't argue, you didn't lecture, you didn't beg. You just let natural consequences do a live demo. This is the kind of petty that builds character. I approve. I'm often called an for things like this. Worth it. I sure do love a good petty compliance. I do this with my partner. He says I'm spiteful, but I tell him I just meeting his energy and respect level. It is kind of funny to be called an for doing what they ask you to do. I think you handled it perfectly and with grace. Thankfully, you don't live with these people anymore. Some like it hot. Reading a recent stolen food PR reminded me I too have a similar experience to share. True story. I had taken an R&D internship for a food company over the summer in Keokuk, the armpit of Iowa for those unfamiliar. For housing accommodations, the company had set me up in the local college dorm that was previously a retirement home, so it basically had individual rooms and bathrooms, but one large commercial kitchen. It was summer and the school didn't have a summer program, but allowed 2 fall students to move in at the beginning of the summer. One was rarely there, but the other was constantly in the building and oftentimes had multiple friends over. Given the kitchen setup, we all stored our food there and it's pretty no-brainer you shouldn't take from others. But immediately, I had various food items going missing or being consumed regularly. Sodas, empty boxes of cereal put back on the shelf, etc. Not the empty cereal boxes put back on the shelf. The audacity, that's like, look what I did, flexing for douchebag points. I initially posted a sign on the fridge to not eat others' food, and also confronted both about having food go missing after the sign was up. But it didn't stop whomever from stealing my food, particularly when I'd head out of town for weekends. After complaining about the situation to my manager during my job, they helped formulate the perfect pro-revenge. The manager involvement, we are entering the big leagues here. Given I was doing R&D work on food products, I was responsible for getting various ingredient samples to use for new recipes. My manager suggested I get some capsaicin extract for my research, even though we weren't doing anything in the realm for flavor profiles. Well, I found a company that had various Scoville unit extracts, and I asked for a variety to see what worked best for our applications. Well, did they deliver with some small 2-ounce bottles of 50k, 100k, and 250k Scoville extracts. I ended up putting the 250k in a travel size spray bottle mixed with some water to help as a carrier, and wearing gloves and a mask borrowed from work. Doctored the common food items being stolen with a liberal spraying of my mixture, mainly cereal, chips, crackers, jug of milk, and the lip/top of a few soda cans. For the snacks, I actually put some into a separate bag and left them open to dry before mixing back into the original packaging. I did this in a different dorm room in my wing, as I know well enough how potent this can be in enclosed spaces. Are you the one who made hot Cheetos the first time? That actually wouldn't surprise me. I did this right before another trip out of town, and when I returned, I found some of the chips and cereal and milk was missing, plus 2 of the 3 cans of soda I had doctored. I never got to see the result, and no one ever said anything, but none of my food went missing for the remaining month of my stay. I hope the experience was enlightening for them and they still remember the time they played with. I hate when people steal others' food. This revenge was definitely legendary. I really hope the person who stole learned their lesson and they never did it again in the future. I have some that is about 6 million Scoville, but nobody steals my food. I'm doing just that next time. Thanks for the tip. Joke's on you. I like it hot. What an amazing thought to end on. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stories. If you did, please subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments. I reply them all and see you in the next one.